Yo, what's up, guys? It's Talon, and today we are coaching a Challenger Braum player who got mostly Challenger through support solo queue. And so we're coaching a higher level player than normal, and I honestly think that this video, for a lot of people who are Hardstuck support or don't understand how they can have impact on support, even with, you know, less impactful champions like Braum, or this guy plays a lot of Sona as well. It's only Braum coaching for here, though. But I really think this video as a whole gives you guys a really good perspective on the purpose of support and how support can have impact without actually needing to deal damage, because obviously that's kind of the issue a lot of people have. So if you are hard stuck on support, I really do recommend watching this entire video. If you're interested in getting coached by a rank 1 solo queue player like myself, DM me on Discord, Talon1169, or through the link in the description to my Discord server. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Okay. So is that like a specific goal you have, is getting top 500?
Yeah, you know, I want to be able to get 500 because no matter how hard I try, I can't get it. So
Okay.
yeah.
And you're child right now, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you kind of trying to get sovereign as well, probably. Have you gotten sovereign before? Or?
I have not gotten sovereign. Actually, this is my first season switching over from support. I used to play mid and ADC.
Okay.
So I switched over to support due to my high MS and my ping issues. So yeah, this is my first season climbing to support. So.
And are you is this 5-man or?
This is a trio.
Okay, you guys. And then you have a duo. That's why. Okay. Or who are
so
you trio with?
It's Ocean, Keyboard, and the top laner. FUYU.
Oh, so the Jinx and the
and the jungle
top laner
or the top. Yeah.
The guy is bad. I've had that happen a lot in my games. He's not like awful though, but he's not good. But yeah. Do you have any like specific things you feel like you need to work on, or like questions you've had initially?
Well, to start off, I feel like my vision's bad. Like I don't know how to ward or vision, and I don't know how to build. I build random stuff.
Okay, so we can focus on that a little bit. I don't know if you pull up your builds, because I guess we can talk about that if that happens. I mean, Braum's probably pretty straightforward, like redemption, most games, you know, defensive boots, and then
I honestly don't even know what like the items do. Like
okay, then we'll talk about that in the notes. We can go over all the tank items, because enchanter items and tank items, so yeah, we can just go over those at the end. Probably in the notes is the easiest time to just write these types of things down. In terms of like core items, I assume you know, like you know, redemption on Braum, I think, is what people typically build. I don't play this champion specifically, but you know, every champ pretty much has like a first item they're typically going to go. You go maybe Heartsteel on some champs, or Warmogs or whatever, and then typically you want to build HP items as your first item. That's why redemption, for example, is decent on a champ like Braum. Most other champs do Warmogs, Heartsteel, because HP is just more value early. That's just how the math works out. So you usually want an HP item, then some level of resistances, and then from there you're going to go with whatever situational item fits the game. And then talking about warding, it's actually something that you already make a mistake on here. We don't ever want to ward level 1. The reason we don't want to ward level 1 is because 1, the ward expires quicker, and 2, it's possible you get caught. So like in this situation, for example, you walk up by yourself without your Jinx here. If Lucian and Nami wanted to walk here, like they would half health you, you lose your flash, or you have to run away and you lose health at the start of the lane. And this ward does nothing for you depending on what happens, and based on what should happen in this lane matchup, this ward does nothing for you. This ward, the only information that it really gives you is if someone walks in this exact direction right here. It doesn't tell you who's on camps. It doesn't really tell you anything, right? Like this is very, very bad placement. So there's 3 places we'd want to place a ward. 1, the best possible ward placement is on a buff or on a camp. So if you can ever get a ward on their blue buff, on their gromp, whatever, you want to ward that because it helps you with jungle tracking. Are you aware pretty well of jungle timers or no?
I've watched a few of my videos and gone back, and I've noticed I always die at a minute in 35. So
yeah,
I kind of get it a little bit.
That's one typical timer. Yeah, so typically, around 130, really 150 is more. 135 is a bit early for a lot of junglers to gank. 150 to 2 minutes is a very common timer, and then they'll go back to the side they started on around 230. They go back to the other side then 345, and then they go back finally at 5. That's like the rough timer. Obviously depends on the game, but keeping that in mind, it's important when we get these wards. We're like, oh, if you know, for example, you ward at 50 seconds and the blue buff's dead, you know he started blue, so he's going to come back to blue side at 230. That's like, or if you see it's not cleared, you know he's going to come and maybe you'll be ganked around 150, 135, possibly because Vi is fast clear. So that's why that's the ideal thing. But as I said, I don't want you warding level 1. The reason I don't want you warding level 1 is because if the enemy, and they should in this lane, because obviously Nami and Lucian should beat you, if they push you under your turret, then I don't care if you know where the jungle is. You're going to sit under your turrets. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know. What you do need to know is, am I getting dove? And if you're getting dove by the jungler, where are they going to come from? They're either going to come from this bush that my cursor's currently on, or they're going to go through lane, right? Those are the only two places you could be dove from. And so when you're in a lane like this, if you're getting pushed under your tower level 1, then you're going to just ward right here, as you can see. Because then you still control the bush to some extent, you get vision of that, and you're going to be pretty safe. And now if you're pushing people in their turret, and I know we're not really going into the game yet, but we'll go into it after. But if you push them under their turret level 1, then that's when you use the fact that you push level 1 to then go walk out and ward. And again, if you have time, you ward a camp. If you don't have time, just ward in the river, and that'll give you decent information.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because there's usually junglers always put a ward on their buff.
Yeah.
Like a vision ward, and that's why if I play stuff there, I realize that they're just gonna clear it out, and then I won't know where the Vi's starting, or so.
No,
How would I?
That gives you enough information. You don't care about the word surviving. The only reason you place that word is information. So
Okay.
If say you go and you ward there at again, you're not going to be warding level 1. You're warding level 2, as I said, right after the first wave, because then you either know if you're pushing them under their turret or if they're pushing you, right? So again, ward level 2. But if you do ward level 2, there's only 2 things that can happen. Let's say you ward here and it's control warded. What does that mean? Are you, like, I'm asking the question, like, do you know what that means? If it's control warded, you ward there, level 1?
She probably started red.
Yeah, she started red. And so what else do you need to know? Now you know she started red, as I told you. That means you're going to be ganked around 152 minutes, maybe slightly earlier, right? Could be 140, could be 210, but it's within that time frame. So that's already enough information. And then if you know that you see that the blue buff's already dead, then again, you know you're not going to be ganked till around 230. Again, could be 220, could be 240. It's just a rough estimate that we want to make. And realistically, it's more like 3 minutes that you get ganked, because she'll often go and clear her camps initially. So does that make sense?
Yeah, I have one more problem. You know the bush I'm standing right next to on the on the right, that
this one?
Whenever I ward there, and let's say we're pushed up to their tower, it doesn't give me and my ADC enough time to like run away and get away before they kill us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
that's why I ward deeper, because that's why I kind of ward up there. That was my thought process. I was like, if I give us like a little bit more time to run away if we're trying to take plates or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
but I know even in this matchup,
But go ahead.
in this matchup, I know Nami's really good into Braum. I just started picking Braum because my win rate on Braum is like a 61%. I win more on Braum and Sona than usually I'd go Sona into Nami, but it's Nami, Lucian, Jinx. Like, we're not going to really be able to do anything even if I pick Sona, because it's just Lucian does too much damage into Jinx, even though Jinx is really strong level 1 if she could get her range right. But Nami's trade, it's just, so that's why I picked Braum. Usually I wouldn't pick Braum into a matchup like this, but I don't have much like picks, you know.
No, I think this pick is not that bad. I don't really think Braum is that bad in the Lucian, or in the Nami rather, and it's good in the Lucian. So, because like obviously you stop the ult, you stop really any of his bursts. Like, he's okay. What do Lucian Nami want to do? They want to burst you down. What does Braum stop? He stops burst damage. Like, yes, it's really easy for her to land the bubble into your shield because it just instantly blocks it. But you don't take much damage when you're bubbled because you have your shield up. So she's not gonna like one-shot you from it. You can protect your teammate from the bubble. Of course, if you stand too close, then it's like, again, you can. But it's not awful. You're gonna lose lane, but everyone loses lane in Lucian Nami for the most part. So it's not horrible. Sona's fine too. Yeah, like I think Sona would be okay here. You have some level of engage, but I'm totally fine with Braum or Sona. I don't think either of those are bad. And then on to the vision thing. If you did want to ward river, just ward here, because this one, I honestly don't know if it shows like here. Like, it might show what comes here. It might not. I have no idea, but I know for sure
probably
if you do
barely.
this, then it will. Yeah. So just ward the river over here. It's going to give you more information overall. And you're right.
Let's do it level 2.
Yeah. You do a level 2, but you're right, sometimes it matters, but think about the jungle as well. So if this is Vi, then yes, you're not going to have very much time to react if you ward this. But if it's, I don't know, like a movement speed based champion, like, I don't know, Olaf, or Shyvana, or a champ that's not scary to gank, this will give you enough time. So you also have to think about how your champion works. Do you have flash up as well? You know, are you in an advantageous spot? Do you have mobility to get away? So you have to think about the specific jungle matchup and how like their ganks will work. But generally speaking, yes, if you have time, you go and ward a little further into the river if you want information. Do you have any other questions about warding or champion or anything, or does that all make sense?
No, just ward at level 2.
Yeah.
And the placement's better now, so.
And then yeah, I mean, this lane, I don't you guys are standing on the wrong sides. The ADC should stand
Yeah.
here. You should stand in the bush. But yeah.
I've been adjusting myself a little bit and trying to get on the same side as the support. So
Yeah, and I see you move here then, and it's not the end of the world. And you guys are going to get pushed back. I don't really see, like, I feel like you're hovering a little further than you need to. Realistically, you're just letting them push. If they're going to hard push into you, you just sit under your turret. Like, you don't care. You take a little more poke than you should, but it's really not, like, anything big. So I don't really care. But I guess they're trying to... You stole that. That's kind of funny.
yeah, I actually secured that. I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, Jackie always does that. Like, he level 1 pushes and then does that. So you can do that when you're in an advantageous lane. Like, if you're in the Lucian Nami position, but you're playing, you know, if you're playing Braum, Ashe, and you're against weak, you can do that. That is a good thing to do, generally, like with your duo especially and whatever. Everything here is mostly fine. Again, I think you just took a bit too much poke walking up sometimes, but if you guys get to crash this wave for free, this is the type of time where I would tell you to ward as well. So if we looked at it, for example, on this level 1, and then once again, your main purpose of this lane is to AFK, do nothing, and get a little bit of information and stop ganks, not go down too much. So you don't have like a ton of things to do. So the fact that you take a bit too much poke can be problematic because you could get dove. But if we look at this wave, for example, like by the time the wave, the first wave crashed, you didn't have that much time to really go ward because they were already kind of doing a lot. So sometimes you don't have to ward level 2 either, because level 2, like by the time this wave comes, it's only 50 seconds. You're not going to get ganked at 50 seconds. You have time to gain more information. So the fact that you crashed this wave right away, like you see how quickly you crashed it, this one's not, you know, the next wave's not even close. This is when you would go for that deeper ward. So if you guys sit in lane and do nothing here, this is where it's kind of problematic. Or you don't, yeah, so like this recall, this doesn't do anything. You had more than enough time to go ward his blue side. And again, it's only 110. A jungler at 110, if they started red side, they're only going to be on like raptors here. They're not going to be ganking you. So you're going to get information on blue, and then here you would see, oh, blue is taken. That means I'm safe for a while, and you have, you know, really nothing bad. Instead, you recalled for, or you just sat here, right?
Yeah, I was like pinging my ADC, if you notice, like not to back, because that was a bad back. If we would have backed there, they probably would have got a couple
You guys would have
plates.
lost a minion, and you don't get any gold. It wouldn't make sense. But yeah, generally speaking, again, you're not really... So this is another thing. Just what does this Q do? Again, you're going there because you're trying to throw poke onto them?
Just damage. That's all. Not really anything.
Right, so we damaged a Nami, a champion who heals. And then what do you do? You take damage from this, right? So
yeah.
If we think
and
about
throw
it
up my
that
shield
way,
just to try to push the wave. That's it. Yeah. But
and
it's
again,
not really
your
worth.
champion is a champion who can... It's much more likely that you guys die here than they die, because it's Braum, Jinx, and Lucian Nami. And so your goal is high health. You want everyone to be high health here. You want no one to... Because you don't even have good all-in for the most part. It's pretty hard for you to actually get your stun onto them with the Jinx, with them not getting out, you know, not dashing. Like, it's really, really difficult. So the point is, you're just doing a bunch of useless things here. You walk up a couple random times to try to like last hit minions when you could just kind of give up a little bit of prio. When you do end up getting prio, because sometimes people give Jinx free prio, you don't go and make time, you know, use of that 15 seconds to get a ward off or something. And then you go up into champions who they have stronger poke than you, stronger all in, and stronger sustain. You don't win the lane. It's just not winning. And so
I just noticed Nami was playing a little weird because she was never trying to poke down my ADC. Like she kept hitting me.
And they are definitely playing very poorly, and you end up blowing their flash because they're awful. And so sometimes that works. But that had nothing to do with, again, that first Q you did.
Yeah, that was
didn't
weird.
Do anything. And we're nitpicking because you're a challenger player. You know how to play the game. And so we're going to be worried about this because you're going to outplay 95%. Like you're beating these guys because they're idiots and they're really bad at Lucian Nami. But if we're playing against good Lucian Nami players, that random Q, they're going to be like, oh, Lucian's going to see your Q. Like this, what the fuck? It doesn't do anything, you know? It doesn't do anything, and you don't even...
No, you're right.
And this is the type of thing you're doing. Right. You're just using a lot of... You're making a lot of random use of your time, and this isn't really going to impact the majority of games, but yeah, now you don't get a recall off at the same time with your teammate, and you're just kind of walking around half health. We don't really get any value. So once again, you're basically making really poor use of the time when a wave isn't there within the first 2 minutes, where you're not getting wards off, you're not taking a recall with your teammate, you're trying to poke without a reason for poke. So if I'm playing, I don't know, Nautilus and... Well, I guess you don't play a lot of Engage, right? You say you play Braum, Sona...
I'm learning Rakan and Nautilus right now.
And Nautilus. Okay, so if we're playing Rakan or playing Nautilus, or you're playing Braum Ashe into like Vayne Yuumi rather. Well, not Vayne Yuumi, it would be, I guess, Vayne Janna, something with a shield instead of a Lulu. Then getting random poke on them when you have better all-in is useful. So going for a random hook as Nautilus, to trade, lose a bunch of your HP, but also make Lulu half health. You know, even if you go to 40% and she goes to 50%, but you're Lucian and Nautilus and they're Lulu Vayne, you're happy because you have the better all-in, and your purpose in the lane is to win early. But again, they want to win early, they want to trade with you hard, and they want to out-sustain you, and you're letting them do everything while, again, not getting proper words, so you don't know where jungle is. You saw him on top side, so at this point you would know. But yeah, just all of those types of things. And then again here, at this point, what do you want to do with this next wave? You want to push it as fast as possible. The reason for that is because you want to just do nothing because you know Vi is going to be here soon. Again, normally 2:30, Vi should already be here. She's being weird. Sometimes they're weird. But you should understand that I'm not going to do anything for the next about minute because my jungle is going opposite side and their jungle is coming here, right?
You can see I'm like struggling on what I need to do. Like I'm literally like walking river. I don't know if I want to rotate mid. I don't know. Like
this period of time, you don't have very much to do. Like you don't have recall for boots yet, I don't think. And you don't really have anywhere to be mid. And that's fine because you're Jinx and Braum outscaling Lucianami. You know, like you're okay with sometimes doing nothing. You don't always have to be doing something with your time. So even just hovering river there, it wasn't really bad. The only issue is maybe a Vi could have shown up, but again, we knew Vi was top, so it wouldn't happen. But no, overall, I don't have any issue with this. You don't have much to do, so it makes sense that you weren't super concerned with anything. And then again, your guys' goal should kind of be to push this wave really quickly, if they let you. So like doing your shield here and walking to push it is exactly what you should do, because now this is a time where you could be ganked on, but you need to get the fuck out right after, because now you have 15 seconds where there's no wave here, and instead, again, you guys are kind of sticking around. More your Jinx's fault, because you do take a recall, so you mostly do what you should do at this point, since we do understand that we're going to possibly get ganked here, and that's all fine. So that's what I want you doing more often, is when you think you're going to get ganked, you kind of crash the wave and just leave.
So when I think I'm going to get ganked, I crash the wave. Cool. And that's around 250 to 3 minutes. Vi should have been here, but she wasn't. So
yeah, around 250 to 3 minutes.
Now, is this bad? What I do here?
This is very bad. There's no point to this.
Because I just thought doing this was I was trying to shove the wave because I noticed they were mid, so I was like, I'm just gonna get my Jinx replaced.
It's like
but
3 more seconds, 3 more seconds maybe worth of time to clear that, and now you don't have your ult for 50 seconds, 60 seconds, however long the cooldown is. I don't think that's worth it at all. I can see the thought process there, and I don't mind that you have a reason for what you did, but yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I don't think it really changes much. And then here you flash, but your teammate's not even nearby, so I don't think this is gonna do anything. I mean, it shouldn't. I
actually kill him surprisingly.
How does he die? Okay, how does he die from this?
The Q right here.
Okay, that's pretty funny. I honestly don't think this is a good choice at all. I don't agree with this, but it at least has, you know. I guess you're just thinking, if you're genuinely just thinking, oh,
I'm just not getting any value. In my head, what my head's going on is like, I'm not getting any value. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I need to do something. But then I realized I spent too much time mid and I left my Jinx kind of solo there for a second.
I mean, that's what I'm kind of saying is like the opportunity cost of being here is that Jinx has a possibility of dying. And in this case, again, we're in a fine spot. We outscale in the game. We're happy with the game progressing naturally. And again, I see this as maybe a 5% chance of a kill. I think, 19 times out of 20, this is not a kill. I am very, very surprised that it worked. Pretty much everything that would have to somehow go right goes right here, and it worked. And I see the reason for it, so I don't mind having the reason. And actually, funnily enough, in hindsight, if you had your ultimate, actually would be a lot easier to kill with the whole other thing. But again, yeah, I'm more worried about leaving my Jinx alone. I think that's, again, going to kind of progress us towards winning a majority of times, just playing around our Jinx, playing around the person who's already doing well, who we're doing well with. But it worked, so, I don't mind. And
I don't know how
at least this has
kill my
reason.
Jinx.
But, yeah. What was that? Sorry.
I don't know how they didn't kill my Jinx. It was a little weird.
No, they shouldn't be able to kill Jinx there. They didn't have their cooldowns, so...
Well, I guess she did burn Flash, and she did burn all that, now that I'm looking. Which is unnecessary for her.
Well, yeah, but that was your Jinx's fault, not your fault. But yeah, you could have been there. It would have been ideal. But either way, again, I just want you to have a reason for why you're doing things, and so at least with that play, you kind of had a thought process. Again, here, what does this actually do? I really don't think you should all in them ever. I don't think you should win them.
Oh, I wasn't trying. I was just trying to stop the wave and stop them from getting a plate. That was my thought process. And
if you wanted to stop them from getting a plate, why wouldn't you just shield when you're back here and then take way less HP? And again, they're not like your Jinx.
I guess that's true.
So And yeah, now you're just way lower. You lose your heal, you lose your ultimate, and you shouldn't be able to kill them. I assume they should be able to beat you. I honestly think they might have even been able to kill you. Possibly. Would have been kind of close. And your jungle's not here as well. So if you were doing that and your jungle was there, then again, there's a reason. But your jungle's on the opposite side. We know junglers were opposite side the whole game, so you should know their jungle has a high chance of being here. Again, he wasn't actually there in that exact situation, but it's entirely possible that he was. And in some games, that's going to lead to you dying, and then that turns the game around. Whereas you getting, I don't even know what we thought we would get there, right? Half health, don't have great all-in overall. Probably not going to work out majority of the time. But yeah, overall, the main things that to keep in mind are understand your lane strengths so that you actually understand what you want to do. So this is a really good pick, for example, because they just are caught out for no reason. But understand, taking random poke onto the enemy only makes sense when we want everyone to be lower or when we out-sustain them, not just for fun. We need to have more of a reason behind that. Trade more around jungle pathing. Again, the warding after, ideally after the first wave, maybe after the second wave, depending on situation, and base more of our aggression and our gameplay on jungle pathing. And then just be okay with not doing too much if you don't need to. You don't have to overforce every game. You don't have to win in 3 minutes when you're outscaling, when you have a good situation. If you're playing Nautilus and Draven, into Vayne and Yuumi, then you can maybe feel a bit more forced to do some stuff early game. And look more for those mid roams or those plays. But again, you're kind of just hovering here without a whole lot to do. Like, they're already on the Herald. You probably could have just gone bot, helped your teammate push out these 2 waves, taken a recall afterwards, and then looked to cover Herald. Or if you wanted to be doing something else as a support, because this is another thing you can do, is when you trade Dragon for Herald, the enemy are going to drop Herald a lot of times pretty early. So if you want, you can reset, and then you can try to hover wherever you think they're going to drop it. So if you think they're going to drop it in mid or top lane, then hover that. And if your Jinx has, for example, Flash, you think maybe she can be safe for a little bit. I would probably just play around my Jinx in this situation, because Lucian and Nami are scary enough to possibly kill. But if it was, again, Vayne Lulu or something that I'm not scared of my Jinx dying, or maybe Jinx has Flash and Ghost, whatever, you can recall right away and then try to protect the Herald. And that could be the other thing. But here again, you walk here. You could have recalled. This would have been the same speed, right? And then you're full health. So once again, we just kind of walk for no reason. You're kind of just sitting here. This guy wasn't going to push this wave before your guy got here. And then you're just giving him stacks. I mean,
I'm inting right here.
Yeah.
And I realize that. That's why I kind of...
And again, I think that as you walk up to people, you're not thinking about how they can respond. Because when you walked up to that Veigar and you somehow killed him there, you didn't think about, oh, he can cage me, and then he walks out and then he lives. Somehow he didn't cage you.
I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just kind of
and here you're not thinking, I'm walking and giving Darius 3 sacks. You're just thinking, oh, I want to try to stall for my teammate and kill him. So try to put yourself in the enemy shoes a bit more, rather than purely thinking about what your champion does, or what you can do against them. Because again, you would be punished very hard for a lot of these mistakes if jungle just happened to be there 5 seconds earlier, which is going to happen some games, or if the enemy just played a lot better, lane properly, these types of things. Like, again, you guys just being disorganized at the start of your lane, you're on the left side, he's on the right side, then you guys have to switch around randomly. If this is a duo, you should be able to tell him that. Maybe you...
None of us are in comms, sadly.
No. I mean, after the game, like, say he does something wrong one time, you're just like, hey, next time, just stand on the other side. So you make the mistake one time as a duo, and then you just don't make it after. That's all. But yeah, you don't have to be in comms, because that's not, I don't play in comms either, obviously, even if I do duo. But yeah, just communicating with them like that is more useful as well. And yeah, I think you just don't have a lot of intention behind how you play. I think you're just playing the game very, very autopilot. So
yeah, I feel that.
And so again, I mean, diving this is like pretty crazy. I mean, it might even work. Like, it looks like it's kind of working, but I'm telling this guy to retreat, and I'm leaving him because I don't see a good reason why this should realistically work. Like, if we look at it, Jinx is pretty far back, low mana. My Jhin is pretty far back, full health, but again, he'll probably just ult here. He won't do a lot of damage. The enemy mid is
and then
rotating.
You got Veigar is right there. Like, Cage is going to disrupt everything.
Yeah, so all you could do is you could just go and shield this Veigar, and then he can't play the game. And if your Jarvan decides to go under the tower and then he pings you, well, that's not your fault. Like, that's on him. Instead, you go here, and then I'm imagining in the long run this turns out into pretty 50-50, even though initially it works out well. Maybe it ends up working out better than I would think it would. Kind of does, to be honest, but that really shouldn't have happened. I don't know how it happened, but it did. But again, I don't think you were thinking about anything specific. I think you're just following around, and it kind of worked. So,
and I don't know if I should have hoped my Jinx there left
running away here is fine. Man,
we actually lose this game. I think I remember this game now.
Oh, it is pretty close gold. So And for
Yeah,
example, it's also
autopilot. And I
obviously
don't
yeah.
really have a purpose now that you mention it. Like I just
Yeah.
kind of just focusing on throwing my skills and
And
hoping
so
they
if we
get
think about it
stacked.
in this
And
game, for example, we want to look at whoever's strongest, and then we're essentially playing. So again, think about what the enemy want to do. What do the enemy want to do? They want to run at you, and they want to click on you and kill you. Like, it's very simple, but Vi, very aggressive, dives onto your backline. Darius, he just runs at you. He either kills you or he doesn't. And
they have a whole dive
Nami, they're
comp
looking
going
to
on
burst
there.
you down. So everyone on their team, apart from Veigar, is just looking to run at you guys and burst you down. So
Yeah.
you need to find a way to stop that. Luckily, you're one of the best champions in the entire game for stopping that. So now we think about it. Okay, if a Vi goes in, are we that scared of Vi's specifically one-shotting?
No.
Not necessarily. So she can go past us. We can let her ult past us. She can do whatever. Who are we trying to stop? Well, we're probably trying to stop Darius from getting onto our teammate. But with Darius, we can't stick onto him for a long time because then he gets a bunch of stacks. So what do we want to do then? We want to ult him because the ult is an actual CC that we don't have to like be like you're stunned. You have to be there for a while. You have to auto attack him, whatever. He's gonna get stuff on it. So you want to
He's
find a way.
very easy to ult.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you just want to find a way to slow him down. And then, okay, what are we going to use our shield for? Well, we're probably going to use it to block Nami ult, Lucian auto attacks, right? So you need to have specific reasons or specific thoughts behind what you're going to use or which abilities you're going to use for what things. And again, think about the enemy's purpose, your purpose, these types of things. And then throughout the game, it's going to change. Like maybe the Darius instant dies right away, and now you're like, oh, I actually have my ult for something else. What else can I use it for? Well, maybe I'll stun Vi when she goes on my teammate or whatever else. It's not, you're not actually going to just do every single ability for every single ability you think you're going to do it for, but you need to have a plan so then at least, you know, when those things
and I don't have a
plan.
And it's funny that you say all that because that's the reason why I lose the game. I give Darius stacks, and instead of like using my brain and ulting him, instead I just walk up to him and give him stacks. And I think I remember that's why we lost the game, like a major fight.
Gotcha.
And, which you will see.
And this one, your teammate's just in. It's like there's nothing you can do here. Is what it is. Yeah, nothing really to do here. I mean, sometimes Braum is an AFK champion. Like, he is a lot. And that's why, when you play AFK champions, you play Braum, you play Sona, and that's fine. They're pretty strong, honestly. I feel like both those champs are actually kind of underrated. But when you're playing them, you have to find value in these types of ways I'm talking about because you're not the one who can play make. You're not, for example, going and forcing a random mid play on Veigar. Again, it can sometimes work, but you're not Nautilus.
That was weird.
Yeah. And again, the play worked. That's not like it was an awful play, but the point is, you're not the champion. That's not where you're going to consistently be able to carry games. You're going to consistently carry games by thinking about things like I'm talking about, like which.
That's why I'm like trying to pick up Nautilus and stuff and Rakan because I could actually make plays. Because I feel like I could find good angles and stuff, but with these champs, it's kind of hard to carry a bad ADC. You know, if my ADC is bad, it's like if I play, you know, Sonya or something like that, and they don't know really how to trade or play the lane or play the matchup, I'm just kind of fucked, and I can't really like do anything.
And the reality
Excuse
is,
my language.
You are. I don't care. Dude, have you ever listened to my stream, bro? Like.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So you really think I would give a shit? But anyways.
No.
But yeah. Anyways, we're in like the later parts of the season. If your goal is to get top 500, to get Sovereign, whatever.
Probably
realistically,
really
you should stick to champions like Sona and Braum for this season because that's what you've climbed on. I'm assuming your win rate on Nautilus and Rakan is lower. Maybe it's not. If you do really well with them right away, then just play them and ignore me. But we're later in the season. At this point in the season, your goal is to climb now. You got your champion pool to what it was and whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
I stopped climbing for like 2 weeks, so I haven't been climbing. I've been kind of tilted of rank because now I'm getting like team ADCs are just the ADCs are really weak and can't play the matchups. And whenever I do play,
trust me, I've been solo queuing, you know, and I think I'm like 50 marks on my support account around there. So I'm playing support today as well. But no, I definitely get like it's annoying. I don't like playing solo queue with the shitters either. It's not fun. So I get why it's frustrating. But at least this coaching will give you some things to think about. And if you're just thinking about those
100%.
things rather than thinking about the really dumb things they're doing, at least you have, you know, something to improve on. But anyways, the point is stick to these champions mostly probably for this season. And then if you want to have higher impact, the best time to learn these new champions that you're naturally going to lose more on Nautilus probably than Braum initially is early season because you can spend the first month. Everyone is relatively low elo anyways. You know, even the best players, it takes them 2-3 weeks to get Grandmaster, right? Maybe 4 weeks to get Challenger, right? So it doesn't matter if you're a little bit behind because if you then get better at those champs, you're going to be able to catch up pretty quickly. And in the long run, it's going to be better. But again, you want to have a little bit more of a short-term mindset if your goal is to climb within the last month of the season because we have like a month and maybe 10 days left. So yeah, there's that. But
I do realistically have enough time to hit Sovereign if I were to keep trying. Yeah.
Okay, well, you paused the replay for some reason, but yeah. I mean, looking here again, so why would we walk up here, right? You're not an engage champion. Your champion's purpose is not to engage. You're not going to walk into 3 people and just try to. This doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
We're not catching anyone.
I was just like looking at more of the man advantage type thing, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you do have a man advantage, but your Kha'Zix is not anywhere near. Your team's not in a position to go forward, and you don't really have great engage. Like, how do you win fight? We talked about how the enemy win fights. How does your team win fights?
I think we wait for them to engage probably and play off their mistakes.
Okay, but why? Like, why? I agree with you, but why?
Just because the whole dive comp, like the Vi and the Nami.
Look at your champions.
Kind of
what
maybe appealing for the team.
Well? What do your champions do really well?
Well, we have an assassin, so the assassinate the squishies and.
Okay, so assassins, yes, they're really good at killing one person. What's Jarvan really good at? Locking down 1 or 2 people,
Multiple people, yeah.
And what does Jinx want? She wants 1 kill. Kha'Zix plays resets, Jinx has resets, and you have a champion who can lock them down. So because of that, your goal is to kill 1 person and then win the fight off of that 1 death because it gives you multiple resets. So that's why it doesn't make sense walking into 3 people and losing all of our HP before that, because we're not going to kill any of these people here. They're going to dash out, they're going to flash out, they're going to ult us. We're not getting a kill out of this. We're waiting until one of them, yes, they make a mistake, because if one makes a mistake, we win off of resets. That's why reset champions are really good in solo queue and whatnot, or even in trio, because trio queue is solo queue in terms of the level of play, even in challenger. And so again, instead we walk up here, we lose pretty much all of our engage, right? We lost our ultimate, we lost everything, and then the engage is super scattered. Nobody gets picked off until Vi ends up inting for no reason, and then you win the fight anyway, I guess. But like, that had nothing to do with decisions. That was purely just, again, this is a pretty bad jungler. The Vi is pretty bad as well. He's better than the Jarvan player, but they're both not good. And so he's going to do dumb stuff. But again, the only reason you won that fight is because somehow the outcome turned out that you did get your pick that you wanted, but none of it was because of anything you did. It was because Vi ulted in after you guys wasted everything. And so imagine Vi just waited. Now you guys had wasted everything that could possibly lead to you getting a pick. They still had a bunch of their tools that mattered, because the Vi or the Nami ult doesn't really matter. Like Lucian, you know, again, those aren't things that matter in terms of them winning. That's not how they're going to win the fight. The Nami ult's not super key to them, but having your ultimate to stop them and then get a pick off of them, for example, would be really useful. So that's, again, why we want to understand our champions, like strengths and weaknesses and whatnot. And then here, unfortunately, you guys are all ARAM. And again, this is the problem with trioing with someone like this Jarvan. He's an idiot and he's not going bot or top. And that's not your fault necessarily, because you have to hover mid, but ideally you ping or tell your teammate and try to get him to go topside or something. But your goal here, once again, is not to dive this mid turret and get this mid turret. Your goal is to get more gold so you're able to win the next fight around Soul. For example, right now, Soul is a good, potential win condition. We're not winning off this Baron, right? It's a short Baron. The Baron is weak. The first Baron, it's just not very good.
We end up dying here, actually, and I think I spam retreat, and my teammates don't listen to me.
Yeah, and this is not really like on you. Like, all I'm saying is that maybe we should have tried to ping our trio. This guy's an idiot. He might not listen to you. So there's not much there, right? Like that sucks if they end up inting here.
Yeah, because this is definitely not a winning angle. We don't have enough gold to even tower dive this, and it's
okay,
really
and then
bad.
You do get caught, so you are inting here at the end, right?
Yeah,
like this is lack of awareness of spells. So when we think here, right? Okay, everyone backed off. The minions are gone. We don't really have anything that where we're realistically gonna win, and you just kind of walk forward. It is what it is. Again, your entire team is inting here. The decision, you should be made regardless because you're a problem. But yeah, we just walk too far forward, we get caught, and then we kind of int. So
I'm not thinking of other champion skills. I'm just thinking about my own skills.
Yeah.
And I have lack of respect for the other champions.
And you're playing Braum and Sona, so what the fuck are you thinking about? Your champs are so easy, you know what I mean? Like, you're not playing hard champs. And that's the good thing about support, is the reason that support is like a really strong role is because you have a lot of time to think and make decisions, because there's no support champion that's really that hard. Even
this
Thrasher
really
or
bad.
Khan, I don't think this is that bad from you. See, like you're telling me this is where you think you're
I missed my ult, though. I missed my ult.
I know you hit Darius. I mean, you missed Darius, but okay, so the things that you should view as bad aren't you missing a skill shot. Like, obviously missing a skill shot can lead to you losing a game or losing a fight or whatever, but it's not like you're gonna miss them. You're gonna lose games off of missed skill shots. You're gonna lose games off of making a stupid play. What's important is the decision making that goes into each play that you make. And here there's a Veigar that's caught for no reason. Go and kill him. nothing is wrong with what you did here. And then you try to stun this guy. Unfortunately, you kind of get blown up, and he ends up getting a reset. This is much more what I would say is a bit of an unfortunate situation than it really is any of your decision making leading to anything terrible happening. And the outcome isn't even that bad. Yeah, this isn't. Your teammates are inting topside for no reason. You're picking someone mid.
I don't even know why he's still continuing to fight.
Yeah, no, this
Darius,
really is.
Now that I realize it, this is weird.
I think this is, yeah, this might be what you think was a really bad mistake or losing you the game. Everything was reasonable. You had a completely reasonable reason. You had a good reason to go for the guy. Pick him off, very easy, he's caught out. You end up missing an ult, and so the guy's able to get a reset on you. But even with him getting that reset, it was very close, because Veigar had to ult you, and you were barely in execute range even then. And then your teammates still killed him, and it took your teammates dying on topside to Lucian Nami for them to then come. Like, a lot of things had to go wrong. That really wasn't your decision-making leading to it. And even now, what, you guys off that fight, before that fight happened.
Still behind, yeah, and in gold.
Before the fight happened, though, you were only up, 500 maybe, and now you're down 2K. That's not game losing. It is a lot harder, but it's nothing where you can't still win,
Yeah. I'm actually curious what happens here.
Okay, so again here, like, what are we thinking? Okay, who is strong on my team right now? I can't really see scoreboard, but based on levels, this Jhin might be stronger than Jinx, given the fact that he's higher level. Okay, so my Jinx is walking up for no reason. I need to be in a position where this Vi can't just engage on him for free. So I want to put myself in between that. So you don't necessarily need to be standing here. You can put yourself like around here. You're not just going to get one shot and die instantly, most likely. And so just getting that, or putting yourself in between that, would be important. And just generally paying attention to protecting your teammates from that.
I'm pinging retreat.
But, okay,
I'm like,
look at what you're doing. You're griefing here. Your teammates are idiots.
Sure.
Again, they're always going to be idiots. But okay, so I was just telling you who's going to get caught. Maybe an ADC, maybe someone. You're Braum.
Yep.
What's the purpose of Braum? Stand near my teammates, make sure they don't die. What do? You go by yourself. You do nothing. Your teammates are in a position where they can 100% die here. They're getting caught, and you saw the Vi in mid. So you know she's probably hovering there. She might be looking for a pick. Again, what does Vi want to do? She wants to go engage on someone, ult them, and one-shot them. You can easily stop that by putting your Q on her, your auto attack, and then she gets stunned, right? And then she can't do that. Protect your teammates, whatever. Instead, you go and stand completely away from your team when your champion's entire purpose is to stand next to everyone. Same with like Sona, right? If we're playing these champs, we need to understand that. If you're zoning someone and it's like, oh, I'm protecting my teammates, so you're thinking maybe I want to stop Darius from being able to walk on my team, that's a reasonable thing to think. But none of your teammates are on mid-wave. And again, we know there's a way more dangerous threat, which is Vi, who has better engage than Darius, who is in a position to easily catch out your teammates who are pushed forward. So most of the time as Braum, for example, you want to be the one who's farthest up, unless you have someone who can engage, like maybe the Jarvan. But otherwise, you want to be the furthest up. And by furthest up, I just mean like in a position near him. And then, okay, what did we ult here? So again, you ulted because you got scared and your teammates were dying and it was scary.
Yeah.
What do we actually want to ult?
Fair
We want
enough.
to ult Darius, right? Stopping him.
Darius that's going through my ADC, yeah.
Yeah. Or we want to stop. If we did, we could also stun the Vi. It wouldn't be the worst choice, but not great because she's already on top of her teammates. Not much we can do. But instead, yeah, you target Nami.
This is actually on me, this fight.
Yeah.
It's
on a lot of people. Everyone sucks. Again, as I told you, your Jarvan is horrible. Your Jinx is not very good. The Vi is bad. Everyone in this game is bad. It's everyone's fault that the game turned out this way because they all suck. So you don't have to purely blame yourself. But yes, you could have done like 10 different things here that possibly would have led you winning and likely still would have led you losing because that's just reality. You're not going to make these changes that I'm telling you and then you're going to win 20% more games. You're going to win like 2% more. And again, the 2% is the difference between being, say, at 80 marks, 90 marks versus 100 marks. Or being, you said you were 3 games from top 500 one time. Well, you would have been top 500 if you. So that's the point, is that we're trying to make more of these small decisions. And again, instead, you don't use your CC on the people who actually it matters on. You don't protect your teammates, not paying attention to these types of things. And again, ideally, you would have controlled that mid wave as you wanted to. When you went and zoned that Darius on that mid wave. The problem is your teammates weren't doing that. And when they're not doing it, you can't just solo a mid wave as a Braum because you're Braum. So we need to understand that as support, we can't always make the technically best play because a lot of times it's just not how the game works. So.
Yeah.
Any questions about
it? Just make me realize I need to work on my positioning and I need to pay attention to other champion skills and their abilities and actually know where I'm supposed to be and where I'm supposed to stand as playing Braum or protective support like that.
Yeah.
And probably I shouldn't get, because I get nervous. Usually I rather have my team stand behind me, but I can't control everyone. So sometimes I got to put myself in uncomfortable situations or I'm not going to get better. So
Yeah, I mean, it's really just going to depend on the individual game. And I mean, I
yeah,
agree. Like, I play Thresh, right? So I agree with the whole play engage champs. It's going to be you get more agency. So you do lack some agency, but you have a high win rate on these champs, and we're seeing a lot of places that you can play better. So clearly, your win rate could be even higher. These champions you can climb on. I mean, there's a guy, Turtle, who was a Sona one trick who would climb very high playing solo queue with Sona. Like, you can do it. You just have to optimize all these things regardless. But
yeah. This is only like 50 games Braum, 50 games Sona,
yeah.
and then Janna. So those are the 3 mains. But my Janna win rate's only 50%. But my
Yeah,
Sona is like
Janna is
55.
pretty shit right now. And the only time that Janna is good is when Braum is good, as in like disengage peel. So very redundant in terms of your champion pool to have both. If you enjoy them both, then play them both because that's what the game's for. But yeah, and then
I usually use a.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I usually use it like a website that tells me, because what's helped me actually get here is honestly counterpicking. So every game I would try to get last pick just to counterpick. So I'd pick a random support, and a support maybe sometimes I never played, and then gradually I did it from unranked to challenger, and then I would just counterpick, and I got used to the whole counterpicking thing, or picking like this is a counterpick, Braum counter Sona, you know what I mean? And then or whatever, but like I would always do that, and that's kind of what helped me get to where I'm at. I feel like is the whole counterpicking thing, because I feel like giving my ADC like Pyro in lane so we win lane is better than just playing any support that I want to play.
Yeah.
That was my thought process, and it helped obviously, because this is the first season I've ever hit challenger. I've only ever been grandmaster, and what's weird is I would play all these carry roles, and then as soon as I switch to support, I actually start climbing. So
yeah,
it's a little weird, but
it happens. I mean, for me, when I was first playing the game, and this was like the game just came out basically. I was Diamond the first season, playing top lane, and then the second season I switched to support, and I instantly started winning way more, and I got to Grandmaster. I didn't get Challenger for a while. I didn't grind the game a lot initially, but so I was the same actually initially. I switched to support, and I climbed a lot faster. So I understand that. It's kind of just dependent on what you're better at. And in terms of the counterpicking, support champions are a lot easier than other champions. So if you want to have a little bit of a wider champion pool than like I normally recommend 2 to 3, I still recommend that for a majority of people. However, if you want a bit of a larger champion pool, you want to play more around counterpicking, that's not unreasonable to do in support especially. So I would say make sure you have 2 blind picks. If you think I can blind pick Braum most games, I can blind pick Nautilus, whatever you think feels good. Nautilus and Braum I feel like are both fine enough champs. You can also pick based on what ADC you see, because you're going to have to first pick sometimes or second pick. So you need some blind picks, and then have a couple counter picks. But like I said, we don't want redundancy within our counter picks. So I don't want Janna and Braum, because those champs counter very similar champs. Not the exact same, sure, there's some matchups that are better or worse, but they're very similar. And so I would rather we try to get as small of a champ pool as possible that counters as many champs. So maybe it's 5, maybe it's 6, whatever you feel is a number. Again, that's up to you. But that's like how I would recommend that. So. And then here, I guess you're trying.
No, this is weird.
I mean,
I guess
okay, the flash is stupid, but everything else was fine because your jungler was there. But yeah. And so again, I mean, we look at it, right? We think about it for 2 seconds, and obviously the slash makes no sense. I mean, your passive is gone now, so you can't stun this guy. You're gonna auto attack him. Your Jarvan. So again, if we look at it, Jarvan has.
You probably don't even have the damage by the time she gets to the tower, and we're.
Yeah, I mean, Jarvan either has E or Q. I don't know where she started at NC, but either way, E or Q is not gonna one-shot this guy. And then you have Jinx. Jinx is gonna auto a couple times if she flashes, and that's if all 3 of you flash over the wall, and he's just gonna walk here. So yeah, you didn't think about anything he can do. You were just like, oh, I want to go kill someone. I'm gonna go try to kill him. And now the lane went from being super beneficial to you to losing, basically for no reason. And now you have to recall. So. Okay, really important thing actually to know here as well. One of the best things you can do when you fuck up and you have to recall early, and you know the enemy overstay like this, is just try to stop their backs.
Instead of saving the wave.
Yeah, you do both. You walk through the wave still hits you, and then you just try to stop their stuff. And plus, the Jinx would lose maximum 1 minion. But yeah, if you walked here a bit, the wave would chase you up. Like, it might eventually go back if you go far enough, but it'll chase you up for a bit. Max Jinx loses 1 minion wave. You screw up their tempo, that gives you control of the next wave, and then you get to go and get a ward after that. So it gives you a whole sequence where you get control of the next wave, you're able to get a ward, you get that information that we were talking about in the first game, and obviously the enemy, they waste more time. They probably lose out on the minion. Whereas here again, you see Jinx wouldn't have lost any minions, because if we look at it, or like the first one that got targeted was this one in the front. So that one would have
Yeah.
been targeting anyway. You would
That's
have
a
been
really
enough
missed
time for Jinx to get there.
opportunity. That could have been a really good opportunity for me to just step up and stop them from the backs, and then we would have had more health and make
Yeah.
them stay and probably potentially dive them.
Yeah, either
With
well,
our
you're not going to
jungler,
dive
so.
them. Why are you not going to dive them? Why are you not going to dive them?
Well, it's still early, but we probably could have kept them around long enough where they would get a bad back
How
or
long do you
probably
need to
get
keep
played.
them around for to dive them?
Like 2 minutes.
You need to keep until around
Yeah.
3 minutes, as we spoke about, because your jungler is fast. So the reason I was saying that is because we don't know where jungle is, and we know our jungler is not here.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm saying the dive is bad. You're completely right about the benefits to it, just not a dive. That's very unrealistic. And I want us to be aware of jungle pathing. You don't think about jungle pathing enough, so that wasn't in your mind that, oh, the jungle's not there, so I'm not going to dive. But yes, you're going to poke them out. You're going to have the health feed. They're going to have to take a bad recall at some point. You probably get plates out of it. And it's not only when you fuck up that this happens, but oftentimes your ADC is going to be the one who fucks up. So when you have a bad ADC, they take a bunch of damage. They have to recall early. This is another great time, because usually what happens, let's say your ADC walks up, trades for no reason, loses flash, loses 70% HP. Usually the enemy took at least 40%, 50%, and you're probably
This
pretty
guy
high
makes a
health.
couple bad backs for sure. Like, and I notice it. And
But
he
what I'm
makes a
saying
couple of
is,
them.
if your ADC and like solo queue or whatever is fucking up like that, you can use that time to just walk up and mess with the enemy, make them not able to back, that type of thing. And taking advantage of that is a very good way to play despite having a bad ADC, basically. But obviously, you sometimes will be greedy with it, and then you're going to die. And the reality is you're just going to have to find that balance, which comes to thinking about, for example, do I have flash? Where's the jungle? You know, do they actually have ways to engage on me? So like Sona, Misfortune can engage on you. But if it was a Nautilus Draven and you're doing that, you're an idiot, right? So it depends on the specific situation.
Right here it fixes by the time I come back down. I guess
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention to my phone when I was recording.
Yeah.
But I fix it by the time I come back down to lane.
Regardless, the roam, okay. We go and we roam on Lissandra. What does Lissandra do? She E's away, and we don't do anything. So why? And you don't know if she doesn't have flash or not, because she does have flash, so she has it.
Yeah, and it just comes back to just not thinking about champions' abilities.
And
you know,
also,
I'm just thinking about
again, the enemy champions can kill your teammate here. Sona could stun, and then Misfortune would burst really quickly, and probably wouldn't kill, but could take a lot of damage. And I'm guessing that's what happens. He loses the trade. I mean, it's not the worst, but he loses the trade. And yeah.
I fixed it here in a second. But.
Yeah, it's fine. Happens. And yeah, it looks like Jinx is taking a bunch of damage. So pretty much, yeah, Jinx takes that damage because of you for no reason. And it's once again just these random roams. So you don't have to roam every game. This is weird flipping, but you don't have to roam every game. There's plenty of games where I'm only playing for lane. Again, especially when I'm AFKing with a Jinx, for example. I'm fine with that. We outscale. If they're not going to do anything, I don't need to do anything. The times where it makes sense to roam are when you have a reason to. So if we see a low health Lissandra with an Aurelia, you know, we have an Aurelia and they're 1 HP and we saw them flash because it got pinged by them. Okay, then I might roam if we've also pushed the wave already in bot lane and we have that free time and we know the enemy jungler is top side maybe, or we know the enemy jungler is weak early like Yone, whose clear speed is really weak, you know? These are the types of things where then we can look to dive. But we don't want to look to dive on a full health Lissandra or near full health Lissandra with flash up, with E up, you know, all these types of things. When we also don't have a champ who can engage or follow up super well with Brand, it's not going to work out that well. So it really does just come down to thinking. You have enough knowledge where you can figure these things out, but...
Yeah, and was it bad my ADC back there, or is she just loses one minion, or was it bad that I stayed?
No, your Jinx definitely should have backed.
Oh no, yeah, she should have backed. Yeah,
and you could have backed with her. I mean, I don't know what you had in terms of buy. Like if you had something to buy and you're kind of low health, you can recall. You're high enough health that it's okay to stay, but you're definitely wanting to recall soon. And again, you just use your ult for no reason. Why the fuck would she cleanse that? Like, what does she think is going to...
Wait, who cleansed it? What happened?
Her.
Oh, she
cleanses you. What does she think you're going to do to her? This is what I mean. It's the same thing. It's what you do, but she's doing what you do, where she doesn't think about what you're actually going to do now. A Braum ults you. What are you going to do now? You're just going to sit there. Braum's going to walk at you, and then you could cleanse the stun if you really wanted, if you got stunned, but you're not going to go walk at him. You're 1 HP. So you see it happens with a lot of people. He's doing the same mistake. You all did for no reason. Again, just to stall.
My Jinx is stepping up here, I think.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys are trying to fight. You were like, what? Like, I think it like maybe barely worked. Like, this isn't a smart play.
Barely
this doesn't make sense. You guys were low health. Your jungler was sort of close, but he wasn't that close. You're a Jinx.
I didn't even know jungler was ganking. I was too focused on the fight. It just worked out. I don't know.
Yeah, and again, there wasn't really a reason for it. You ulted for 0 reason. Your ult didn't actually do anything. It got her cleansed out because she's a complete idiot, right? If it didn't get her cleansed out, you lose the game anyway. You guys are lower health. You have worse burst damage than, you know, Misfortune. And you scale really well. So you're fine with just chilling here. You don't have to do anything. Now, if your jungler was there 10 seconds later and then you ult flashed, I don't know if you can ult. Can you ult flash or do you have to flash first? I don't play this champion.
I don't know if you could alt flash, but that does sound interesting. I might have to try it.
But either way, you either flash and you ult him or you ult and you flash, whatever works. And then you play for the all-in on him because at that point now your jungler is there. But you don't do it before your jungler comes 10 seconds too early. So play around jungle pathing more. Have a specific reason. Again, think, oh, the enemy can't respond to this because I have these spells and they don't have cleanse up or they haven't used their flash or my champions want to get them half health so we can eventually find it all in.
I wanted to dive that there, but she didn't want to continue the push.
Yeah, you couldn't dive this. Why would you
think
you can dive
this?
It
was irritating that she didn't want to. I thought we could dive this, which I thought we could.
So again, once again, what is the reason for diving this? There's no wave there. You might as well wait for the wave and then dive her then. Because, okay, if the enemy jungle is here, then you want to make sure you have vision of them or something to make sure you're not getting, you know, counter gank, because then you'll just die on this dive. If the enemy jungle isn't here, then by the time the wave gets there, you crash the wave, you get turret plates, and regardless of whether or not you get a kill, you deny her a wave and you get turret plates. Now, if she does stay under the turret, then you dive her with a wave. It's a lot safer, and you basically win the game there. So the actual benefit to this, if you do kill here, isn't that much more than the benefit from you just waiting for the wave. Whereas if you kill here, but you end up dying or the Yone shows up, it could be a lot more catastrophic. And again, I don't even know if you can actually kill here. It's pretty close. You're going to take a bunch of turret damage. So, I don't know. And Jinx doesn't have flash again. We need to look at things like this. Like Jinx doesn't have flash. You know, you don't have flash. We don't have our spells. So these types of things are also important. If you think you can dive and you try to dive, it's not unreasonable though. Like,
wait, what happened there?
And then you ult.
Oh, I missed my ult.
I don't know why we would ever ult here. Again,
I was just trying to get the pick. Like I really thought we could kill her, but I don't know.
I think it's just really greedy, but I mean, I see the thought, but again, she's very far back, very greedy, I would say. But I can see the reasoning for it. I can see the reasoning for it. Also, I'm talking loudly. I'm not yelling at you, to be clear, because sometimes.
Oh no, you're good. Sure.
Sometimes,
my family talks loud, so.
Yeah. No, I talk like this. Sometimes,
I'm just really hard. So if I sound like I'm sad, I'm just really hard on myself.
You don't. I'm just. That was just a thought where I was like, I'm kind of talking loud. That had nothing to do with any of your responses. But I just wanted to acknowledge that. Either way, doesn't really matter. Again, I don't see the purpose of this queue. I know it's not that important. But why do we queue here? We don't know where the enemy, or we see the enemy jungle, I think. We might not. I don't actually know if we saw him. But either way, our jungle's not here. We don't have any real ability to engage because we don't have flash. We don't have ultimate.
No ult.
She doesn't have ghost, right? So we don't have any reason to go in here. We don't really want to trade. And again, healing, right? Someone heals, you don't. So we're just taking unnecessary poke, looking for random things that don't really do anything for us. And then we're also wasting a bunch of spells on this wave. Now, I'm assuming you didn't see jungle based on these decisions. But either way,
we didn't, no.
Yeah, you're just trading for fun. Again, no purpose behind that trade.
With
if you
no
really
reason,
think you can just walk at them, even if Yone didn't show there, there's no way you're going to one-shot them on, full health in that situation with none of your spells up. But you walk up and you shield and everything. So there's only two things that could happen there. One, you walk up, you trade with them, you guys both lose a little bit of health and nothing really matters, or the jungle's there. Those are the only two things. Either what just happened where it's really bad happens, or nothing good happens. So it's either nothing or bad. There's no good, so why? This is essentially what I'm trying to. You keep.
This
doing
is why
things,
I'm stuck, which it makes sense.
Yeah, you keep doing things that have no reason, or that have super low expected benefit, or super low chance of working out, and just don't really do anything. There's a bunch of just. No, so I just want you to ask yourself, it doesn't even have to be all the specific things we talked about. I just want you to ask yourself why you do things. I just want you to start actually thinking while you're playing. It's a very simple thing, but a lot of these things have no thought behind them. And again, when I watch my games, sometimes I'm the same because I'm obviously streaming, I'm talking to people, so I get being distracted. You're not always going to be 100% focused, and it depends on the day. Some days, I'm sure you show me your best games, you're going to be super focused and be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, everything's working, there's a reason. Yeah. Of course, some days we play we're less focused, and you're probably showing me games where you're not playing well compared to your normal gameplay. But either way, we need to make sure that every game we can create as consistent of gameplay as possible. That's why when I'm playing, a lot of my things are to build up these specific habits, so I do the same thing every time. And that's one of the reasons I climb. It's not because I'm really, really good at the game. It's because I do the same thing over and over, and I get really good at super specific things. That's why I one-trick champions. That's why I play, at one time I spam, one roll at a time. Obviously now it's different, but normally that's how it works. And then we have a reason behind why we do things, and we just get a lot, better results. And funnily enough, you're playing against a guy who does the same thing. Spark hates, he never thinks when he plays. He's really good at Yone, and he's really bad at thinking, so just thought I'd point that out. But the play worked out well, so that's good.
I just need to think and have a purpose behind my actions. I just can't randomly throw skills.
Yeah, so where do you want to be right now, for example?
Like right now?
Yeah.
I'd probably. Well, I don't know why I'm mid actually.
So where do you want to be?
I think rotating mid was the most logical thing to do. I think we need to start working on the top.
I'm not asking you as in saying, "Oh my God, what the fuck are you doing?" I'm asking you as in, I want you to develop a plan so you could think. For example, this is what I want you to do.
Like a plan right now.
I want you to develop a plan. When you're walking the lane, you need to have a reason. So what should we do, and why should we do it right now?
Probably to get some vision in some important strong spots. Probably that's probably what I would do.
What does the vision do for you right now?
It could set up kills for the team, and just like probably getting vision in some of these bushes, or maybe walking when they walk drag, but drag's probably not even up. Probably not a bad idea, or maybe clearing wards is probably a good idea.
Okay, so this is the issue again.
Trying to figure out.
Our goal is to win the game. With winning the game, we are currently up like 7,000 gold. We don't need to get more kills. We don't need to do more things. What do we do to win games? We stop our turret bounties, our gold bounties from, when we're ahead, we stop our gold bounties from dying. And then once objectives are coming, then we use objectives to progress the game. So you want that vision you're speaking about, 45 seconds before dragon, a minute before dragon, 30 seconds. That's not happening right now. You have like 3-ish minutes until dragon or baron spawns. So you have you don't want to do anything specific. You want to stand on whatever turret is most likely to die. Because again, you have gold bounties up. All of your turrets are up. So initially when I looked at it, the first time I asked you this question, my actual thought was, I want you top side because there's a top turret up and there's no mid or bot turret. Then I thought about it more. And I was thinking, well, that doesn't matter because you guys are up 7,000 gold. You don't need that extra 1,000 gold from that turret. That doesn't do anything for you.
No, we don't.
8,000,
But we do need a push,
we're stomping.
I'm listening. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I think you get it. I don't really need to talk more. You understand, right?
Well, I understand. It's good not to greed for kills. I have that built into me where plates are just as good as kills. Yeah. But the only reason why we get kills in games are to push. Like we kill someone to get some kind of value somewhere else. Yeah. So that I do understand. So
no, and we definitely don't need any different game states. There's different things that matter. So turrets and plates and whatever matter a lot when we're trying to progress the game because we're even gold, slightly behind, ahead. So if you like only a little bit ahead. So if this game was within 2,000 gold in either direction, I'd want you top side because I want this top turret to be what you play for. And if you lose a turret, it's not the end of the world because then you're getting more assists, you're getting stronger, which also helps with Galio's ages potentially and just helps you progress the game.
So what would you do? What would you do right now in this situation?
Right now, I'm thinking to myself simply, which turret is most likely to die? Where is the play going to happen? And then I'm going to play to protect that. So initially, I'm going to hover mid
I've never thought of it like that. That's crazy.
And that's because of gold bounties. So if there were no gold bounties, I'm way more thinking about, again, aggressive pusher turret, which would be topside. Because I'm playing to protect turrets, I'm thinking, where are the enemy going to make their next play? And so the first thing I need to do to know where they're going to make their next play is know where their jungler is. And so the initial thing I would actually want to do is possibly get a ward on that blue buff or on red buff. Either way, I just want to have a camp warded so I know where the enemy might be. And if I die, it doesn't matter because again, you're up 7,000 gold. One death from you doesn't lose you the game. So I can walk through this river and just go and see, right? I can just go and ward. If you have a ward, you might not have a ward. I can't tell, right? But if you have a ward, I will go do that. If I don't have a ward, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit around the area that I think is most likely to die. So right now, top wave's pushing and it's full health. Probably not going to die. Mid turret, very low health, possibly going to die. Bot turret, a lot lower, right? So because of that, I'm going to hover bot / mid, but I'm going to hover closer to mid because I want to be on the side where the side lane turret's more likely to die. And then since mid's the most likely to die, I'm going to hover there. So essentially, again, main goal, possibly get vision of the enemy jungle, but the only reason is so I know where they're going to make a play so that I can stand there and jerk off and wait for them to come, not for me to go up and make an aggressive play and walk at them.
I wonder what I do here. I don't. Oh, I'm just sitting here.
I mean, hovering here is fine. I think, did you actually ward? I didn't see if you warded. Yeah, so here you could have snuck a ward if you had it. I don't know if you had it. But if you did, You could have easily just worded that. Hovering here is fine. But again, the problem is you're sitting on the mid wave. Again, our goal is just protection, so we can just sit in a bush, make sure we have vision. Lissandra is not going to go and one-shot our teammate, and if she does, we can quickly, you know, go on her and ult her and whatever. So you don't necessarily need to be directly on the wave. You can be hovering a little more towards the bush, but I don't mind. It's all fine, right? It's not, that's pretty.
What a
nitpicky.
wasted ward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wasted.
And then here again, 150 gold here on a support that takes 4 years to kill this. Whereas, again, we're 7.
I wanted my Jinx to come up here. That's what I wanted. My Jinx to come up here and take this.
So why
it wasn't me just going for the solo.
No, I understand, but why would you want your Jinx there when a mid wave is coming right now? A mid wave is about to come. You would rather lose control over mid wave to get this? Like, this doesn't do anything. And again, we don't know where the enemy jungler is. So either the enemy jungler is going to be coming from.
If he was right there, I probably would have died. We would have.
Yeah, and he could be here because his camp is up. And if his camp is up, that means he entirely reasonably could have been there. And if he's there, your Jinx dies, not you, because Lissandra, what does she do? She E's onto him, stuns him. Yone, ult, dead, right? So you're baiting your teammate into death, and you're leaving him so that if Yone is on the other spot, then he also dies. So Yone's bot, he dies. Yone's top, he dies, right? Or he loses flash, whatever. But
I'm just laughing at my own stupid decisions. Like, I could see the stupidity because I'm not even protecting my Jinx, and I'm leaving her to die here.
I do these things all
look,
the time, and then it is
Lissandra just flashed for my Jinx.
You see, so when you make this plan, I can tell you what would happen before it happens. And you could have told me this too. It wasn't anything complicated that I did. And don't get me wrong, trust me, I'm tilted, I'm blaming my teammates, I'm not thinking about this. So there's plenty of games where I don't think about this. It's not like I do this every game. You know, this isn't there's a million different things that differentiate me from a different player that make me better. And I'm not doing all of those things in every game because otherwise I would be faker and I would never lose a game. I'm going to make a bunch of mistakes. I'm sometimes randomly going to be a support doing the same thing you do. And usually it doesn't matter because we're ahead 7k gold. We're probably not going to lose a majority of games. Again, once we're ahead 7k gold, we're going to win most of the games anyway, so it's not as big of a deal, but we're trying to eliminate those extra 5% of losses that happen from these random things. That was an interesting flash, but is what it is.
Well, you can Q flash with Braum to get it, but I did it wrong and I was aiming at the wrong person.
And I respect it. I respect going for that. That's not actually something I'm mad at. Like the things that are important to learn from are not.
I don't blame you that they make you mad because I mean you're a well-experienced player, so you can definitely see the mistakes.
No,
I'm
not mad at the Q flash. I'm not mad at anything really. I don't actually get angry. But why would I be mad at the Q flash? If you watch my stream, bro, I miss I miss a lot of spells, bro. The reason I'm good is not because I hit my skill shots. I promised you that. I miss a lot of things. Again, I'm never concerned with you missing skill shots or something. I'm only concerned with why you're doing the things. That's why, again, you thought it was a mistake to go and give that Darius the random stacks. I think that was a completely reasonable thing that made sense. Again, that's the difference. Is I'm not concerned with the mechanical play almost at all. Again, you're playing Braum, you're playing Sona. You don't need mechanics for these champs. You don't need mechanics for the support role at all. Even if you're playing Thresh or Nautilus, it's not that hard to land a hook every once in a while. It really doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, you know, you play 1,500 games of Thresh or 1,000 games of Thresh like I have, eventually you're going to do some cool things mechanically every once in a while. But it's not what actually, again, makes me climb. So. Yeah, everything's fine here. I mean, you're just chasing them, you know. I don't mind. And we get control over the objective. Do you win this game?
Yeah, this game we do win.
Yeah, it looks winning, so I was assuming. You know. And
we
again, now at this point, we're 11 minutes. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
We beat Twitch TV Sparks Hates like 2 times, and he beat us once.
That's good. He annoys me. Not because he's a really nice guy. He's a really nice guy, but he plays like you. But
I was hoping Spark. See, I was hoping Spark would play with me because he's a good ADC, but he never added me or accepted my friend's request, even though I got him fed in a couple roles and solo queue. But
and it looks like you guys actually do throw here. So okay, so let's look at why we throw because I was kind of distracted, right? But so why do we lose?
I wasted
this here?
my ult. I think I used my ult.
No. So, okay, so what? We're guaranteed dragon. We're ahead 5k gold. What happens now? Baron. It's 11 minutes. And where do you go? You go and walk up top side, or bot side rather. This is just a bunch of waste of time. And that's actually exactly what lost you this. This 5 seconds lost you this because you're not aware of the objective. And your teammate dies. Like, that's bad too. But you could have stopped this if you're there in time because then you would have been able to zone on the part of the objective that matters. And then you also go and zone on a useless part of the objective instead of trying to stall the the
I feel like we would have had a higher chance of winning that if I didn't use my ult on one person, though. That's what I was telling myself in this game. I was like, what if I would have knocked up multiple ones? That's the problem.
You're concerned with your one mechanical mistake that, yeah, you shouldn't have used it. You're right. But you're going to sometimes waste an ability when you shouldn't have wasted it. If I look at it, I agree with you. You should have used your ult differently, but that's not what lost you it. What lost you it is the seconds leading up to it where you, instead of getting off the dragon that your team was guaranteed, you hit it for too long, then you go and you try to get vision bot side. Control of bot side when Baron's spawning in 15 seconds doesn't make sense, right? And we're just wasting a bunch of time. Then the enemy get on it for free. Your teammate gets caught. Not your fault, but if you are there 5 seconds earlier, sometimes you can save them. In that situation, you wouldn't have saved them anyway, but a lot of situations you would be able to save them. And then again, just like our goal is to protect the Baron right now, and we're Q flashing for a Sona. We're wasting ult for a Sona. We're wasting Jarvan ult.
That's true. Yeah, that's
this
true.
isn't useful for protecting, you know, the Nexus. And that's
I have a bad habit of punishing players that overstay. I mean, I thought they were overstaying.
And there's a dragon spawning in 30 seconds, then yeah, do it. Or if your teammate is close to an item, or you're close to an item, or you realize that your only purpose is to play for Galio's Aegis. So if you were down 7k gold, I would flash for that because I want one more assist for Galio's Aegis, right? So there's also that now to pay attention to. But this is a game that's winnable. You're in a very fine spot. So we're not going to do it in that situation. But yeah, if there's an objective spawning soon, or we just want Galio's Aegis, we can do these types of random things. Or we're like, say there's no objective for 3 minutes, you can do that because there's nothing else. Like there's no Baron up, there's no Dragon up. You just do it for gold because that your only purpose within that time frame is gold because you have enough time for your flash to come back up. That type of thing. And then yeah, we're just protecting. I mean, I think Baron's gone by now. But...
And what's weird, my win rate's dropped. I had like a 55% win rate when I hit Challenger with 428 games. Well, it's dropped all the way to 52, and I've played like over 128 games in Challenger so far, and I've not been able to climb. Like I've been stuck between 68 marks to Grandmaster 1, like in and out of Challenger, like nonstop.
Sure, but why do you find that weird?
But it makes sense now after seeing everything that I do. It makes sense. Like, okay, you know, I could have been doing this a little bit better and doing this instead, or paying attention to when drag spawns, or all these other things that we talk about.
Every single person's win rate drops the higher they go. That's how it works. Like obviously, I'm gonna have a higher win rate in Plat than in Challenger, for everyone. All my win rates have dropped, you know, as I go higher as well. That's just how it works. So. Obviously, you're a bit more like, you know, it's gone a lot further down for over a longer period of games. But all that means is that you're a Challenger player. You know, it means you're not a Sovereign player. It means you're a Challenger player, right? If Lamont plays 100 games in Challenger, he continues to win. He might go from 75% win rate to 70, right? But he wins, right? You're going to like plateauing at like 50%. That just means you're exactly where you belong. And you have more things to improve on. There's one of two things it could mean. Sometimes variance means that over the course of 20, 30, 40, 50 games, you just happen to get unlucky for a bit, and then you'll eventually break out. Or, you know, once we get 100, 200 games stuck in the same rank, then we're like, okay, that's probably where we belong for now. But that's why it's not weird to me at all. It's exactly what would be expected, even if you were the best player in the world.
Yeah, and I got to give myself a little bit of grace. This is my first time on support, so.
Yeah, you don't have to be like, it's not unreasonable at all. And it's good that hitting Challenger, you still have a month. You have a reasonable amount of time to hit Sovereign.
I hit Challenger pretty quick. I only 38 days in the season.
Yeah, it's really solid. And yeah, again, at this point, I think we've pretty much talked about everything we need to talk about. I don't really think there's going to be that much more.
Yeah.
You walk up here, you sell them off Barons.
I really like the recording of everything we talked about, so I could rewatch it. And
I'm gonna make it a video. It'll be uploaded not tomorrow morning, Sunday morning. As long as
because it would help me to re-go over it and then relearn what I need to remember. So
yeah, the thing is still recording, so it's not. So it's like, yeah, it was good. Sometimes my files get weird, but as long as I don't accidentally delete it, which that happens about 1% of the time, so you're probably fine.
I really need a purpose with the way I use my skills. I think that's what's really stopping me, and
with how you use your skills and just where you are on the map and all of these things. So we'll write the notes out quickly.
That seems a little hard though. It really does. It seems like a really hard thing to do. Now I have to I got to really use my brain.
Well, it is the hardest part of Wild Rift is understanding your champion within the context of the game, because if you just understand what your champion wants to do, it's a lot easier than understanding what 10 champions want to do, and then you extrapolate to 100 games, and that's now 100 plus champions, because obviously that's how many champs are in the game. So yeah, you have to understand all those champions. You have to understand the different timers of the game. You have to understand what you want to do when you're ahead, when you're behind, and that's why I'm telling you need to think more. But you're not going to be able to suddenly just figure out all these different things. So initially, if we go to we want smaller goals, smaller things to work on. That's kind of what we'll be writing down right now, which is going to be things like for example, some games we need to understand how to play from ahead, first behind, whatever. But yeah, we'll go into the notes. Initially, the early game, the warding thing, usually, and since there is a recording of this, obviously, The notes are just going to be brief things for you to remember, but usually ward after crashing first wave. And then I'll just say CVID for specifics, because we talked about all the specific stuff with the wording, right? Is where to word, when, why. Do you have questions about wording? Do you remember roughly what we talked about with that?
Yeah, I remember where to ward and stuff, and
Okay.
pay attention to like the champions that.
And then
that
also just be on push side. I know
it's a lot of things to think about. It really just needs to become muscle memory for me to.
Well,
get
that's
better.
why, again, I have done all these things on stream, which means, and people always say, like, they think it's weird that I talk to chat so much while I'm still climbing and playing well. And that's because all these things are just habits to me. And I built them over years. You're not going to suddenly build these in two months. You know, you can build an amount of habits in 2 months, you'll improve slowly, but we're really looking for gradual improvement. We're not looking to suddenly, you know, I don't even care if you hit Sovereign, for example. It matters that you build up a couple more small habits. So I want it to be a habit eventually that you stand on the bush side of the lane every single time. I wanted to be a habit eventually that when you crash the wave, you go and you try to look for a ward. And it's not going to initially, and that's why looking at these notes can help, right? And then eventually you feel like you've worked on these things. Either we can do more coaching, or you just look at your own gameplay, look at my videos, and then, you know, look at how you do compared to that, and just try to figure out your own thing, write down your own notes, and continue to go on, you know, with that type of thing. But yeah, then jungle tracking, basically use ward to infer where they start. If they start same side as you, be aware of gank around 2:30 to 3. And then if they start opposite side, I can't type, side around 1:40 to 2, right? Roughly, obviously depends, and so on and so forth. 3:45, they go back, whatever. So roughly every 1 minute, 15 seconds, they end up switching sides once they're past the first, like, initial full clear. But then that's most of the early game things I can think of. We also want specific purpose in lane. So do not, can't type. Do not make.
At least I'm familiar with matchups, you know. At least I know that.
And you play a lot of champs, so you would probably know pretty well. And yeah, don't make an even trade with champs who out sustain you, for example, because of healing or whatever. This type of thing, unless you have a purpose behind it. So you can make an even trade.
It's supposed to be good. And if I was playing like, see, Braum is engaged, but he's not like Nautilus,
Braum's
you know,
not
like
engaged. What?
Engage is good into healing, you know. Well, in a way he is kind of, but I guess it's not really, you know.
I mean, he can
it's
engage,
not really
so can Nami, so can Janna. They're not engaged champions, but they can engage. Sure, like half the champions in the game. I can engage with Veigar if I really want. It's not going to work that well, but I can do it. But yes, no, the reason that engaged champions are good in the healing champions is because healing champions don't want to get all in, because you all in with Ignite, so you have the anti-healing on them, and you're playing to one-shot them and get a lot of pressure. You don't play to poke them, because if you poke a healing champion, they out-poke you. That's why, like, for example, I like playing Nami into Lulu or Janna, because you out-sustain them. That's why Sona's good into most enchanters, because she out-sustains them and outscales them as well. But yeah, so the last thing I wanted to mention with that is sometimes it's okay to take an even trade if that even trade leads to your next trade. So if you're Nautilus and Draven, and you take an even trade into Nami Vayne, but you know that you're going to all in them on the next wave, then I'm happy. So maybe I'm Nautilus, I hook them level 1. Sometimes start W, by the way. Keep that in mind. You can actually start W a lot on Nautilus level 1.
Yeah, I actually saw that. Where you could take Raptors too. I saw that.
Yes, yes. And yeah, that's
and I started doing that.
And the hook start is, again, the hook start is when, okay, I want to hook them level 1, get them low, and then I want to all in on level 2. So when we have a specific reason for why we take a large trade, even if it isn't even trade into sustain, it makes sense. If maybe my jungle's pathing towards me, a jungle's a Vi, or it's a Draven who wants to, you know, trade for kills, be it whatever. We just need a purpose, as we've talked about a lot, obviously. So just have a purpose behind your actions in general. It's obviously pretty important. Be aware of the Baron timer. So be aware of 11-minute Baron. This is like the most important time in the entire game right now. I can sneak so many Barons. It's harder as a support, but you can sometimes get your teammates too, especially if you're duo trio. But even if I'm solo queue as a support, I can get people to often do it. And
I truly want to be. I really want to do it more solo queue than trio. So
yeah, and I think you entirely can. Even with Braum Sona, it's really fine. And you said you play a lot of champs anyway. I mean, you've climbed the challenger mostly solo, you said, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, thinking about the other things we talked about is from behind / close games, we want to often be on the side of the map where we can take a turret, right? So like I talked about in that one game, in the second game, where I took it twice, we can take a turret. Where I wanted you to go topside if you guys were behind or even to get that turret, but because you were, you know, ahead a bunch, it made more sense to protect gold bounties. So when ahead, play more to protect gold bounties, and for objectives, basically. And for objectives, I'm trying to think of what else do you remember anything we talked about that you think would be good to write down?
Crashing waves.
Oh, the spell tracking in fights and whatever. So keep track of the
I'm actually
spells,
pretty good at that.
Yeah, of enemy in
But
fights.
only when I say it out loud to myself, not when I'm like quiet and playing.
And it's also who we need to protect / like how the enemy want to play the fight. So again, the enemy, it's kind of the same as lane, right? The enemy want to all in, we want to poke and play for a pick, so we need to understand what that means. That means we don't hard engage right away. We let them come in initially, we play to just pick one of them, whatever, right? Like with the first game. So having the specific purpose later on in the game as well. So you can kind of see basically almost everything I've talked about is point, whatever point I had specific purpose, right?
Yeah, it's given me actually a purpose instead of me just running around not knowing what I'm doing.
All these things are different purposes at different points in the games within different contexts. So that's what's hard about the game is some games you have to do the exact opposite thing of what you're doing in the previous game. So you're free to message me with questions when you're like, oh, I was in this situation with this game. You can describe it, and I can, you know, when I have free time, I'll answer. Like I don't mind. Or again, you can watch your games back. Just think about it. Usually, if you just think about it, just think what the enemy champs want to do, what my champs want to do, and you go from there. That's what's fun too. It's like you're solving a problem. It's not always fun to just be told the answer. Sometimes it's fun to just think about it, kind of come with your own solution. And that also can go with like itemization, right? If we're like, okay, maybe they only have one auto attacker, but that's a fed vein. I'm gonna build Frozen Heart even though it's only one auto attacker. Like random things like that. But yeah. Any other questions or other things we talked about, or just anything at all?
No, I mean it's really helped me realize, you know, like how bad I was playing. I didn't realize how bad I was playing until I started talking to you, and it's really opened my eyes to see all the mistakes I was actually making that I didn't even know were mistakes. So.
Well, I'm glad I get to make people feel bad about themselves. That's like my main
no,
purpose in life. No, that's a joke. That was a joke. I'm not serious. Don't worry.
Oh no, okay.
It's okay.
No, it's good because now I actually see like what I need to improve on. Like I didn't know, like I was like I'm genuinely stuck, you know, not knowing what the hell I'm doing wrong.
I think this will be a good video for sure. Like I think it's more.
Having a purpose
it is still. It is
crazy.
The things we've talked about are I normally don't talk about them with sports. Like I'm usually talking about go to the opposite side of the lane, go how to roam. You know, like even though you're seeing so many things you're doing wrong, I'm still able to talk about higher level things compared to if I'm talking to most other supports I coach. So it's not like you're just like complete shit, right? So that's also something that's important to understand. But either way, I had a lot of fun. Honestly, this was enjoyable. But good luck in your games, and I'll see you later.
Thanks, man. You have a good one.